Dickey here, answering the question, what is an IRA? An IRA is an individual retirement account. What an individual retirement account means is it's an account. And I'm not trying to simplify it, but think of a checking account, savings account. It's just a vessel to put money into. Now, the traditional retirement account, you normally put money into it before you've paid tax on it. Now, how this works, if you're putting in, let's say $100 a month into a retirement account, individual retirement account, it's usually money you've already paid tax on because it's coming out of your savings account. So if you put $100 a month and you've got $1,200 at the end of the year when you do your taxes, you can take that $1,200, and if you made $100,000 that year, you can reduce your taxable income by $1,200, assuming you qualify. There are some restrictions on income on what you can put in there and take a tax deduction, but talk to a tax advisor on that one. But basically, you have the ability to do that. Now, the nice part of that is you can reduce your income. Now, you have up until April 15th to do this. So if you're not quite sure, and I've had many clients do this where, they've put in $100 a month, they've got $1,200 put into an account, and coming up close to doing their taxes, let's say it's April 5th or whatever, and you get your taxes done and you could use another tax deduction, you've only got $1,200 in your IRA, you can put the rest of it in there for the end of the year. Now the rest of it means if you're under 50, you can put $6,500 away for 2023 and $7,500 in for if you're over 50 years old. Now, again, you can max that out. So you can actually still put money in for last year, even though we're in 2023, before you do your taxes. So keep that in mind as well. Now there's some rules on the IRA. Now, typically speaking, if you leave the money in there between now and 59 and a half, after 59 and a half, you can pull all the money out of there at any increments that you want. Now, if you've got $200,000 in an IRA and you pull it all out, you're going to have to pay tax on $200,000, which puts you in a pretty high tax bracket. May not be the best way to do it. On the other hand, if you have $200,000 in there and you're pulling out 20 grand a year, okay, not a major issue as far as taxes, but you have to pay tax on all 20 grand when it comes out. So the benefit for the IRA is that you can kind of control when you put it in there, how much is tax deductible based upon your income level. Again, talk to a tax advisor. The other thing you can do with the IRA is if you need to, you can pull the money out before 59 and a half. If you don't have a specific reason for it, you may have to pay a 10% penalty on top of the tax bracket. So again, if you're making $100,000 a year and you pull 20 grand out of your IRA, you're going to pay tax on $120,000. So 20 grand is really going to be taxed at the higher end of that tax bracket, in addition to the 10% penalty, unless you have a qualifying event. Could be medical, could be some other things. Again, talk to a tax advisor. So there is some reasons that you can pull money out of an IRA before 59 and a half and not have to pay a 10% penalty. Now, the other thing you can do with an IRA is if you have an old 401k, you can actually roll it over there. Now, I've had clients come in and they're like, hey, I opened an IRA at the bank and it's not doing anything. Okay, I asked them, how did you invest it? What do you mean how I invested it? The bank invested it. No, the bank doesn't invest it. It's the same thing as I've got some clients that come to me and say, hey, I've got a great 401k. It does great. It grows perfectly. I'm like, no, you did a great job. You invested your 401k correctly because the employer doesn't invest your 401k. You might think they do, but they don't. They just have a cafeteria plan. Now, you might have just listened to the advice that was given to you from the company that has the 401k for your company, which is great, but you may want more than what's in there. If you have a chance, take a look at your 401k. Typically, there's just 10, 15 different accounts that you can invest in. Not that you necessarily need more or less, but that's really all that's available. Maybe you want to invest in Apple or Microsoft or Tesla or whatever. If you have your own individual retirement account, you can actually invest in those things. So the new money you can put in is capped at $6,500 and $7,500. How much you roll into it is another story. So let's say you have an old 401k. You haven't worked at the company for 5 or 10 years. No one's really managing the money over there because you kind of forgot about it. And all of a sudden you got a statement because it's the end of the year from the old 401k company and you look at it and you're like, I'm kind of disappointed in the results here. Well, you have the opportunity, or if you wish, to roll that into an IRA, a traditional IRA of yours. It's not a taxable event if you roll it over correctly. Again, probably talk to a financial advisor on that, or you can run online and find out how to do that. But you can move it from your old 401k to an IRA, and then you can kind of invest it on your own. You also have that ability even if your current 401k, let's say you changed jobs, and at your old job, you had $50,000 in that 401k, and you just rolled it over to your new 401k. But again, you're kind of disappointed with the investment options inside your current 401k. You can actually roll that portion that you moved from another 401k to your current 401k. You can move that out into an IRA of your own too. Again, just a thought, but it gives you control of what you're doing. And I think that's the bigger issue for me. I like my clients to have the ability to be able to make decisions on their own and invest their IRAs the way that they want them invested so that they can make sure that they can retire when they want to retire and how they want to retire. Now, there are some restrictions on income, on what you can do and what you can invest and how much can be tax deductible and so forth. So talk to a CPA because I don't know what your income levels are, but the general rules of an IRA are very simple. You can put $6,500 a year or $7,500 over 50. You can roll over the stuff you have from your old 401k. And when you totally retire, you can roll it from your 401k to your IRA if you wish and control the withdrawals. You don't have to. You can keep it in the other 401k. The other one you can have, and this has been a big deal for me, I've got clients who, prior to the most recent downturn in the market a little over a year ago, who were, say, 60 years old, but weren't quite ready to retire yet. So what they did was what's called an in-service withdrawal. And they just took their 401k and rolled it to a traditional IRA. They were still enrolled in their 401k, still got the company match, all that good stuff. But they took their bulk of their money, and let's just say they had a client who had $500,000 in there and was concerned the market might be going backwards. So he rolled it to an IRA and was able to protect it because he could keep track of what was going on and he could make adjustments. He could buy CDs, do whatever, and he was able to protect the $500,000. So as the market was going down, he was buying the new money that he was putting in his 401k, was dollar cost averaging it in. So he was able to keep that. But in the traditional IRA, he had some control over that. So again, just a thought on some of the options that you can do. But again, keep in mind, there are restrictions. One more restriction I need to bring up is in your 401k, you can usually borrow against it, depending on the plan. Your IRA, you cannot. So again, you have to pull the money out, depending on the restrictions, and have to pay the tax on it. So I hope that's helpful. Dickey out.